Ruler Lesson 7, we're going to be looking at emotional triggers today. Now, I understand emotional trigger is a bit of a modern buzzword and it's used a lot. Oftentimes, you see it, before video or a TV show, or you get a warning, hey, if you watch this or you listen to this, it might cause an emotional reaction. So I'm guessing you know what a trigger warning is. Now, if you don't know what a trigger warning is, a trigger warning is simply a warning that what you're about to see or hear might cause you to have a very bad emotional reaction. It might cause you to relive a bad experience and become distraught. Okay, so this works in the world of TV and videos, but in real life, you can't avoid triggers. Okay, to live this life, triggers are unavoidable. Okay, now I hope this video doesn't cause anybody to be triggered, but triggers are unavoidable. Now, triggers change from person to person, and let me add on the way people react to those triggers change from person to person. So before we go through the ruler model with triggers, I want you to look over here at the type of triggers that exist out in the world. An anniversary or a certain date. Oftentimes, I've seen people, the date somebody passes away, or it's somebody who's passed away and was their wedding anniversary, that sort of thing. Something on TV or a video reminds you of something. A relationship within the family, certain family members might cause a trigger. A certain feeling you get might cause a trigger, a certain emotion. The news, in fact, there's a fairly new word called doom scrolling, where people will scroll through social media and find news items that set them off. A particular location or a town you travel to might cause a trigger. A sound or a smell. At holidays, oftentimes, people will make a dish and say, this is a deceased relative's dish, and you smell it and it reminds you of them. There's all sorts of memories that can conjure up these triggers when relationships end, whether they are romantic or friend or family. Relationship ending or relationships ending can cause a trigger. Certain time of day. There are all sorts of triggers, and every human being has to face them. Now, let's take these triggers through ruler. Recognize triggers exist. Recognize triggers are unavoidable. Recognize that triggers change from person to person. Now, understand that fact and understand which ones you have and label them. Okay, you can look at this list and say, oh my goodness, one of these bullet points really, that's my trigger. That's my big trigger. Okay, now that you've labeled it, express it to people, express it to those. Say, hey, listen, I'd really be appreciative if you understand this, this, and this. Now, in terms of regulating them, again, some people take their triggers and they face them head on and just try to desensitize themselves. Some people will avoid the situation if they know it's going to be a trigger. Some people need to turn inward, and when a trigger happens, they need time alone. Other people have the opposite approach. When I'm triggered, I need a certain family member or friend to help me through. We're all different and they're all fine, but understanding we have triggers and taking it through ruler hopefully can help you get through the triggers in a more positive way. So there's no journal entry today. But instead, you're going to create a poem. Now, those who like poetry are quite happy, and those who don't like poetry, hopefully this gets you to like poetry. So here's the assignment that I'm going to ask you to do. I want to ask you to list your own personal triggers. Now, these will not be shared with the group, so be honest. Don't be worried that whatever you write is going to embarrass you in front of the people. Because this is a very personal topic, keep it personal. Just look at yourself and ask yourself, what triggers do I have? Be honest. Now, once you have put down your own personal triggers, I want you to create a poem that reflects your triggers and how you feel when you're activated. In other words, when the trigger has caused that emotional reaction. That's what activated means. Now, your poem should include your triggers as well as lines regarding how these triggers may influence your decision making. And again, similar to the last lesson, when you are in a heightened emotional state, you're not at your best in making decisions. Okay. So, when you are aware of your triggers and know how to regulate them, then you make the decision when you're in a more regulated place. Now, that is the hope. Okay. So be creative, keep it personal, keep it honest, and hopefully this will help you handle these um, triggers, which every human being has to do, regardless of age or circumstance. Okay. So thank you for watching.